So what do you do to get your clients to tell you what they really want to buy? Because wouldn't it be nice if they just came up to you and say, well, if you just had the A, B, and C, I'd buy, right? Wouldn't that be nice? You'd say, well, if you could just tell me what you want, I could deliver it. See, that's a very male way of thinking. If any of you are married, honey, if you just tell me what you want, plain and simple, right? But we don't. We kind of make you guess, right? Because it's fun for us. I don't know if you know that or not. And then we can talk shit about you and drink wine, all right? But that's the way the world works. So clients actually do want to tell you. They do want to tell you, but there's problems standing in the way. So one is most are very lazy communicators, and they don't really know how to articulate it. They don't know how to say what the problem is. Sometimes they can't even identify it. So often, yesterday, after my session, I hung around and had multiple conversations with people. Half of the conversations half of the conversation is always, we got to get down to what the problem is. So people come to me and they say, well, I need your advice on this. I typically have to spend 5, 10, 15 minutes getting to what the problem is because they don't know how to articulate it. And they're not dumb, and it's sometimes that's coaching. You have to be able to help somebody understand, really articulate, because if we know what the problem is, then we can solve it. But if we don't know what the problem is, if we can't pinpoint it, then we'll be trying all these things and still be frustrated because we're not getting what we want because we haven't identified what the problem is. So most people are very lazy communicators. They can't tell you. So you got to be sort of listening and in detective mode. People also feel you should know what they want and therefore don't tell you. How many husbands out there have wives that are angry because they feel you should just know what I want by now? Has that never happened to any of you guys? Look, I see some of you poking, yeah. The husbands are saying, yeah, see, she's saying, I keep out, just tell me what you want, woman, right? You won't tell me, how am I supposed to do it, right? But some of them feel, and we're talking guys too, they feel like you should just know what I want. All of you, when I come to you and ask you, what do you want me to write articles about? What do you want kind of campaigns? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I get this. I don't know, you always figure it out for me. That's what you're paying me for. Do you understand? You're thinking in your head, I don't know what I want, Robin. That's your job to figure out what I need and tell me what I need. Right? Think about it for a second. Because you're like, well, shit, if I knew what I needed, I wouldn't need you. Because part of the problem is I don't know what I need. And that's how your customers feel. That's why they can't tell you. Some people don't know what they want. Anyone have customers like that? They know what they don't want. And they'll tell you they don't want it, but when you say, okay, what do you want? They don't know. They can't give you an answer. Some people feel embarrassed. They don't want to tell you how they really feel. They don't want to make demands. The other problem is that you're so focused on responding that you're not really listening. Active listening to really understand the other person is difficult to do. It's not easy. You have to practice it. You have to listen for what they're not saying. You have to understand, how does that make you feel? Can you explain that? Can you give me an example? Can you be more detailed? You really got to pull it out of people, really, because again, most people they don't know what to say. They're lazy communicators. And the other problem is that you filter through your values, your experience, your beliefs, and therefore you're never really hearing them.